I've been trying to make my wallet fold all day. Cashing in my dreams, big payout. Underneath my money tree, big shade out. Now these models.
Hey, what's going on, frequent flyers? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I am sitting down to do my June 2021 Plan With Me video. May actually turned out to be a really good month for me, like super productive, lots of things accomplished, but the month is over and we are moving on. So like always, I hopped on IG in my stories and asked you all to make a prediction about what you thought this month's theme would be. And I always try to drop hints with like what's in the picture and like what song I'm playing. And so a lot of you actually picked up on it and realized that I was doing a somewhat combination, I guess, rainbow / pride theme for the month of June. So I wanted to do a really clean sheet, clean line kind of design for this month. So there's going to be a lot of ruler and stenciling and a lot of color, more so than I think I've ever done in the past. But I started making these block letters to spell out the word June. And then instead of doing a quote page, I put this month's quote inside the block letters using a rainbow gradient effect to basically say love is love, repeating throughout the entire page. Here's where I caught myself trying to be proactive, so I'm counting out the grid spaces to evenly divide them amongst the colors of the rainbows and marking in each row, like, you know, R for red, O for orange, Y for yellow, and so on, so I wouldn't make a mistake. Guess what? Guess who still messed up? But it's okay. It's okay. And like I said, I just spelled out love is love in a repeating pattern, one letter sort of in each grid, attempting to kind of keep it together. It was at this point I realized I had gone too far with blue and not enough purple, and then I just corrected it. You know, mistakes happen. Then I'm moving on to my 2-page calendar spread. You all know I love a large calendar to just keep track of all of the things that I have going on with work, with life, personal, social, all of the above. Lord knows there's a lot going on. So I put 4 days of the week on the left side of the page, and I put 3 days of the week on the right side of the page. And I also saved some space to take notes as I go throughout the month for things that I want to keep in mind for this month, and also just things I need to remember for the upcoming month. Before moving on, I decided that I wanted to outline the borders of each page and once again the rainbow pattern. So I decided to go ahead and do that to make sure I had my spacing right for the rest of the things that I wanted to go on the page. Since I knew I would be using a lot of color with the rainbow theme, I decided to keep a lot of the fonts and lettering for this month just in a light gray shade so that it wouldn't stand out as much and the page wouldn't be too busy. And then on a lot of pages I'm going to decorate using my sticker book, as well as just making this kind of rainbow confetti kind of decoration, because Lord knows if you've ever been to any type of pride event or parade or anything, like confetti, balloons, it's just loud and it's just obnoxious and it's just great. And so I thought I would continue that theme on the headers of a lot of the pages throughout this month's spreads. Before finishing the rest of the dashboard, I went ahead and finished the rainbow headers, and let me tell y'all something now. Yes, I know that the colors that I'm using are not the actual like official rainbow colors. I taught kindergarten, I'm a little bit smart. But besides that, I just used the markers that I had, and I actually kind of ended up liking this color scheme, not being so true to tone per se, but you know, just a red, a orange, a yellow, a green, a blue, and a violet. This is what we have. So one of the tips that I picked up from a couple of other bullet journalers was to go through and kind of lightly sketch out a lot of your things for the month. And so you might see some pencil marking already on the pages, because the other night when I worked a Denver red-eye turn on that entire 4-hour flight, I basically went through and sketched out and kind of planned where things were going to go. On this particular page, I want to do a combination sleep and mood tracker for 2 reasons. One, next month I know I'm going to be working a lot of overnight shifts, duty shifts, and one of the things that I've learned about myself is that I have a hard time being productive when I get off at 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning, and I want to go home and I want to go to sleep. But it's like when I wake up, I kind of want to go outside and play. Like, I don't necessarily want to get things done, and so I'm not in the most productive mood. And so what I want to do this month is actually kind of track when I'm actually sleeping, and on those days when I do get adequate sleep or not enough sleep, how does it impact my mood? On the left side of the table, I'm basically numbering down each of the dates in June. So from the 1st all the way to the 30th. So I'll say between the 1st and the 2nd, this is when I slept. And then across the top of the chart, I'm basically numbering the hours of the day, starting at 7 a.m. and going until 6 a.m. for an entire 24-hour period. I can just keep track of like when I actually worked and when I slept. And then I'm going to have a third column over on the far right side of the spread where I'll just kind of keep track of my mood using smiley face metrics. But when I was numbering the hours across the top, I was using military time, and I definitely made a mistake. And so I had to correct that mistake by cutting out a page and gluing it on top and kind of, fixing it. It came out all right. Moving on to the next page, I'm putting an expense tracker at the top as well as an ongoing shopping list at the bottom. I am going on a couple of trips this summer, and I'm starting to make payments and things like that for those. So I want a space so I can kind of keep track of what I'm actually paying out this month towards future things. And so that's what that expense tracker is. And then a couple months ago, I put one of these ongoing shopping lists in my bullet journal, and it was really helpful just in terms of keeping track of things that I needed to purchase while I was on the go, without having to keep track of like my little sticky note shopping list. So there's kind of categories for grocery items, household items, leisure purchases, and any like personal care items. I can just jot them down as I know I need them, add them to the list, and then I just cross them out whenever I actually purchase them. My next spread is going to be my template for my bid when it's time to bid for my July schedule. That takes up an entire page itself, and I don't think I need to explain that because you all have seen it before. On the next side is also a page that doesn't really need so much explaining, and that is just a notes page for me to keep track of any notes from any meetings or conference calls that I have during the week. And I just accessorize it with a couple of stickers, one that says summer is fun, and then I came back later on and added another sticker that said every summer has a story. Moving into my hybrid weekly / daily spreads. Off camera, I continued the borders, but this time I just ended it using brown and black for the last 2. And I'm cutting to make a flap so that I can basically have 6 vertical columns. And I did this weird thing with coloring it so that the flap would be colored so that when I flip it, it laid and matched the color of the page it was laying on. Real weird, but aesthetically it came out just the way it was supposed to. I'm using the same design for my weekly spreads, the vertical design, and I've had a lot of success with that. And I have 6 vertical sections, one for each of the 5 weeks of the month, and the 6th column is actually just going to kind of be a space for the dashboard and an ongoing running task list for the month. In each of the vertical weekly columns, there will be a space for me to write down any important events for that particular week so that I don't miss out on those. And then under that, there will be space dedicated to each day of the week to kind of write my to-do list and things that I need to get done. These couple of pages were the pages that I did not have a plan for, so it took a while for me to kind of get them together, which is why I did a lot of kind of back and forth. But you know, eventually it all came together. I only did the first week in this format to sort of live with it and see how I like it before committing to it for the rest of the week. So these will grow out probably in a similar format for the rest of the month. Lastly, I went through and cleaned up a lot of my pencil markings, finished anything that was left unfinished, and then sort of some of the spreads felt kind of flat, and so I went back and just decorated them a little bit more to give them some more character before finishing up for the day, because I was already running late for work at this point. I did come back off of camera to finish the confetti theme on the rest of the pages for continuity's sake. And let's get into the final flip through for June. Thanks for all of you who made it to this point in the video. Be sure to come back at the end of this month when I plan for July to see how these spreads grow throughout the month. I'm Brandon, I'm a guy who flies, and I'll see you all the next time.